this reception possible through their endowment fund, which supports the art at this university. I would also like to thank USA Library's Art Gallery for hosting my first in-person art exhibition and for providing the excellent Miss Paula Webb and her staff to help guide me through this event. Thank you. I would like to share my journey into thinking of abstract art. I guess it all began over 30 years ago on a NATO air base in Turkey. I was a young bride, eager to earn extra shopping money. Unfortunately, my name on the hiring list for a job would not make it to the top for another 9 or 10 months. In the meantime, I became a volunteer at the Red Cross while I waited. One day, I noticed a flyer on the bulletin board announcing a 500-word essay contest. The prize would be lunch at the Officers Club and the publication of the winning essay in the base newsletter. I entered the contest and won first place. Over lunch, one of the sponsors of the contest encouraged me to pursue a career as a writer. I had no idea about how to go about this. I wasn't interested in returning to college. I had already earned a Bachelor of Science in Biology and Mathematics with a minor in psychology from what is now called the University of Mobile. I put the idea of becoming a writer away until I read a notice to write poems and submit short romantic stories to True Confession. It was a popular romance magazine. With the support of my husband, I mailed in 2 poems. They were both accepted. A check followed. My confidence in my abilities to write grew. It was not long before I was submitting stories of romance and self-help articles. This source of income continued longer than my marriage. I wasn't thinking about abstract art at that time. Years passed and I stopped writing. There was no romance in my life to inspire me. That is, until I met the one. We became engaged. We were busy planning our wedding when I discovered his dirty secret. I ended the engagement and tried to continue with my life, but I couldn't because he became my stalker, something no one needs. So I fled the state. I moved from Florida to Alabama to Louisiana and finally Texas. He found me each time. My birth name is Brenda Jean Archie. Before my divorce, I was a Whitney. So I thought if I changed my entire name, returned to Florida, and lived in a different city, all would be well. My new legal name is Linda Angelina Stevens. I certainly was not thinking of abstract art at that time. I love libraries. In almost every city I have lived, I have gotten a library card. One day, I was sitting at the table in the library reading a book when I heard a familiar voice say, "Hello, Linda." Stunned, I looked up. It was him. I couldn't believe it. "How do you know my name?" I whispered. He grinned and replied, "Your mother told me. That's how I kept finding you. She thinks I'm perfect for you." He turned and walked away. I never heard from him or saw him again. A few more years passed. I still wasn't thinking of abstract art when my niece contacted me in January 2004. She gave me the contact information I needed to get a job as an Army contractor in Iraq. Soon, I was dodging bullets and surviving bomb explosions with the best of them. This lasts for almost 6 months. I returned to the good old USA, but it was years before I stopped checking beneath my vehicle looking for an attached bomb. I used some of the money I earned in the war zone to travel to different countries. One day, I took a good look in the mirror, and the lyrics of the song, "I Don't Know Much," came to me. Look at this face. I know the years are showing. Look at this life. I still don't know where it's going. The words summed up how I felt about my life. I wasn't writing and I wasn't thinking about abstract art, but I was wondering what my niece was up to. I contacted her. And she told me that NASA had opened a new facility on John C. Stennis Space Center. She was working there. She told me to send her my resume. I did. I was hired a few months later at Lockheed Martin to be a NASA contractor in the procurement department. The job was interesting, but stressful. In hopes of promotional opportunities, I earned an MBA in procurement and acquisition management at Webster University. I was working from 40 to 45 hours a week. I did not have much of a social life. I was restless. I thought to write some romance into my life. So late one night, I was struggling with words of a story when something came over me. I began to see art books and paintings in my mind. Before I realized what was happening, I found myself in a Walmart superstore a block away from my apartment. I lived in Long Beach, Mississippi at that time, and it was the only store with art supplies open after midnight. I purchased 3 16 by 20 panels and 10 bottles of acrylic paint. I returned home and began to paint. When I stopped, I looked at what I had created. This is when I began to think about abstract art. Okay, I painted 110 paintings within 6 months. I had them photographed. I held an art exhibition on Facebook. I received very positive comments, but afterwards, I stopped painting. My niece encouraged me to write a preteen book with her, The Gold Princess, lift my spirits for a while. In 2012, I self-published a book titled The Art of L.A. Stevens. However, that did not stop me from sinking into a mentally dark hole. Health issues led to my early retirement from Lockheed Martin. I returned to my father's house in Alabama. I stopped thinking about abstract art. I did not return to my art until 8 years later. My favorite American painter is Jackson Pollock. He has serious issues. I identify with some of his issues. I am also fascinated with his body of work. I especially enjoy looking at his painting, Blue Pose number 11. So much so that I used it as a reference for the 50 paintings I will be exhibiting this October at the Sanger Theater, room 1927. It is being posted by Mobile Arts Council. I am inviting you all to visit this exhibition. Enjoy the refreshments and feel free to view and buy my art. Thank you very much. In the gallery hall on the first floor. Thank you for coming.